Good morning, Mr. Skakane.
Morning, Chair.
Good morning, Commissioner Faro.
A very good morning to you, Chair, and good morning, Commissioner Baloy and Commissioner Kumalo.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Skakane.
Thank you, Chair. Yesterday when we broke, we were going through file 5 and 6 with the WhatsApp messages, but essentially I've tried to curtail the process and understanding that she is not party to those WhatsApps, but I just want to demonstrate just 2 points to the witness. And I apologize, we might not be that long as I anticipated. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Would you please go to your file 50, page 177.
I'm sorry, page?
177.
Thank you.
And if you may also open file 6, page 456. Now, yesterday, we went through WhatsApp messages between Kosi and 456. We went through the WhatsApp messages between Sergeant Kosi and Nisi, the CFO, your CFO. And the point, I think we agreed that there was a lot of communication about internal matters in relation to them.
That's correct.
And the same thing with your deputy commissioner, who is Umashi Dlamini.
That's correct.
And of course, he will come and deal with those insofar as he can. Now, in these pages, I just want to also point out the same in relation to something more obvious, which is the land invasion tender. And if you go to page 177 of file 5, you will see, and even there I don't want to go too much detail, but you will see that there is an exchange of WhatsApps. There's I think it's the third WhatsApp that is sent by Nkosi, and he says, Captain, find below our vehicles for land to be given to Mfwetu. What you see then is that pattern. Yes. If you go to this other file at 456, file 6, essentially what you have, apologies, I think I may have it's 440 of the file.
440.
Yes. Apologies, Chair. It's chat number 4. And we established yesterday that what you have is that between Sergeant Kosi and your Deputy Commissioner Umashi Dlamini, the Umashi Dlamini calls Sergeant Kosi Captain.
Yes, I see.
It seems as it seems. What you see is that this message is identical that is sent by your Deputy Commissioner through to Mnisi, but it's sent via Dlamini. It's via Sergeant Kosi. You see that. And the point there is that now you're dealing with this current tender where there are service level agreements that have been signed. And that's that you've got Sergeant Kosi interfering. Correct. And of course, we can't cast aspersions as to what it is, but what we have established within the evidence of this commission is the relationship, at the very least, between Nkosi and figures like Madala.
Yes.
Correct. Now, please close those files because I don't want to go further than that. Or perhaps if we go to 456 of file 6. 456. You will also, and of course, you were not involved in this, but I just want to point out the point, which is chat number 4 as well, which seems to be a list of what is missing in the Ngapeshe bit, it would seem. And it would also seem that it's being interfered with. It's more clear what is required and what is not. And that's essentially as far as I can take it with that point. Now, subsequently to this, then there's obviously concluding of the service level agreement. Can I ask you to release you, Chairperson, and the commissioners from those WhatsApps?
We close 5 and 6.
Yes.
All right.
If I may request the chair and the commissioners and the witness to please go to file 3, page 435.
3.
Yes, file 3.
Thank you.
Or perhaps let's start at 499. Apologies. 499. Right. Are you there, Commissioner?
Yes, I'm there.
At 499 is a service level agreement that was concluded between the city and El Shaddai Security Services. And I think in just the interest of time, that was in relation to this land invasion tender that was pursuant to that. Correct.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Now, at page 499, you are identified as the person to sign the agreement or representing the city,
That's correct.
correct? And yesterday you did testify that indeed you have the power to sign agreements,
Yes, I do.
and that obviously involve your department.
That's correct.
Were you presented with these agreements? You went through them?
No, I was not presented with this agreement.
Okay. And do you know why?
I was not at work. I was on leave.
Okay. So if you go to page 525, there's a signature there, and it says peace.
Yes, that's correct. He was acting in my state.
It was acting
Yes,
in your
that's
state.
correct.
Okay. So, and obviously there's this agreement, and I don't intend to go through each of them. There's Gubis, there is Ngapeshe, and all of them. Chair, I don't intend the same is replicated in the point.
Is that date correct, the date of signature
14 January 25. It should be 26.
It should be 26.
It should be
It
26.
should be 26. At the top there, that's the correct date, 15 January 2026.
But why do you say you were not presented with this agreement?
I was on leave, Commissioner.
No, I get that part. Even if you are on leave and you are chief of police, I mean, surely you would delegate to somebody who's acting, and you would be told that the agreements are ready for signature. I can't believe that when you're on leave, people can do as they please, and you come back and you say, well, because I was on leave, I wash my hands of what happened. You don't stop being chief of police because you're on leave.
No, Commissioner Kumalo, I'm not saying, I'm said that I did not sign this. And at that time, when I came back, I was briefed by Deputy
No,
Commissioner.
but the question is, did you see them before they were signed? I understand that they were signed. Because this is what happens with written agreements. They go back and forth because you get a document, it is typed, and people look at it to check that it complies with legal requirements and the terms of the agreement are in accordance with the tender documents, and they generally reflect the services that are to be provided and fees that are to be paid. So the terms of the agreement. And that doesn't happen in a space of a month. There would be a back and forth with drafts being exchanged. The question that was put to you, was this presented to you? It may well be that on the date of signature by Spies, you were on leave and therefore you could not have signed. But it does not explain what happened before that. Were you aware that there were these draft agreements circulating, what they related to, and that at some point somebody from TMPD has to sign them?
Commissioner Kumalo, I have not seen the service level agreement before it was signed. No draft was sent to me. Nothing was sent to me to come back, to go through. I did not receive it. The only time is when I came back from my leave.
I mean, that is a red flag. It's worrying that these things could be happening and your department is responsible, and but for the leave, you would have had to sign it. And because you were on leave in January 2026, somebody who was acting in your stead signed them, and you only saw them after they were signed. I mean, that is a serious red flag for me.
Commissioner, you must know the service level agreement is drawn up by between the legal department and Office of the Group Financial Services, which is the CFO. So they actually draw up the service level agreement. That's why the legal department is also obviously with them to make sure, as you say, that it is legally compliant. However, I did not see this, and it's not that I'm abdicating my responsibility. I did not receive the service level agreement before I went on leave. That is a fact, and that is the truth.
But at least you would have been aware that this company was going to be appointed, but service level agreements were still being prepared at the Office of Legal and CFO. That part you would have been aware of. Or are you saying you only became aware that El Shaddai has been appointed and there's a service level agreement after it was signed?
Yes, Commissioner Kumalo. That is
Before
what I'm
that,
saying.
you were not
No,
aware that
Commissioner
there's a
Kumalo.
plan to
No.
appoint El Shaddai?
No, I was not aware of that. And I think, as I said yesterday, when the CFO is coming to this forum, I think those questions should be posed to him. I would prefer if that is the case, because I'm here to tell my side and I'm here to tell the truth. I have not received the service level agreement beforehand to go through or to peruse. I have not received a list to say these are the successful service providers. This service level agreement came to the acting Commissioner of Police, and it was signed on the date that is there on the page, 14th or 15th of January, and then when I came back, it just did his hand over. That is the truth, and that is a fact.
Commissioner, perhaps an anterior question to this discussion with Commissioner Kumalo is, how does it work? You have signed other agreements as chief of police, or you've never?
No,
You never?
I didn't sign, because we only had two tenders, and then obviously we have the service animals one. But security one, remember the security tender was withdrawn and re-advertised, and then this was the land in basin one. So I haven't signed the security level agreement, because that one, as you know, the only one that we are starting now since APSS came back to Metropolis is this one that we are currently busy with. The other one we were also busy with, however, but that one, as I said, was not approved, and we had to restart.
So should I understand your explanation to be, since you became chief of police in 2023,
2023, yes.
yes, you've never had to sign any agreements in that, whatever agreement, as head of police? of
Not that
TLPD? You've never had
not
to.
that can come to mind now, Commissioner Baloy.
Okay,
There's
so you
nothing
could-
is coming to mind now.
Okay, so you can't speak about a process.
No,
that
no, no,
This is
I
how it
can't.
works normally.
No, but there's no that I can come to mind, or that there's nothing that anybody has sent a document to me beforehand.
Yeah.
And then, like Commissioner Komalo has now alluded, and then say, here is the document, or these were the successful service providers, and then afterwards, that nothing of that comes to mind, Commissioner Baloy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. And that's the point that becomes problematic, Commissioner, which is that, which then makes one wonder about how do you then fulfill your obligations to manage the department? So if you are none the wiser about the agreements involving millions, how do you effectively manage the department, the police department? You see that someone could have that worry about yourself.
I do not agree with that statement. As I said, the processes after Metropolis's involvement stops. It is solely in the Department of Supply Chain Management. Unless we're going to, maybe through this commission, then change where there's gaps. If it is not the case that your involvement is there for drawing up SLAs and assisting with the SLAs, and you get a meeting request to be there, and you get the involvement where you must actually, here's the successful bidder, so you can have a question and answer before the service level agreement comes to your table. It cannot be said, if you are not being said you must be involved, or that you are not involved, that you have failed. I do not agree with that statement. I think from this commission, we can maybe say that is a gap, and let us make sure in future municipalities, you do it the other way around, so that we can't sit with this. But I cannot sit here and agree with something that it said that I should have known, if that part, they don't even involve you. If it's a part where group legal services and group financial services, if that is their role, and we see it as a gap because of why we're sitting here, we should then say, let us then, and it will also be my recommendation, let us then say, until here, yes, we don't want interference from the subject experts. However, once that process is done and it becomes that way, the subject experts should also then have a type of also checklist and maybe move forward. So I will rather say, let us do that, because I cannot sit here and then it said, if my involvement is not there, that I should have. So I do not accept that comment. And I will rather say, moving forward, let us make sure that before this is even drawn up, that the involvement of the department that is going to make use of that goods and services should be also there. So I will prefer that we're moving forward, that will be then part of the recommendations.
Correct. Thanks. Commissioners, just for completeness, it's the appointment to Commissioner Spies to be in acting position is found at 435 of the same file. So, in essence, had you not been, I think Commissioner Kumalo was raising that point. Had you not been on leave, you were going to sign these agreements.
What I normally do, I do not let people just come and drop things at my office. I can promise you that. If I don't have time to read through it, I will not sign it, because what I picked up, people will know you are on your way out on meetings, because they are in contact with your secretaries and say, is the chief available? And then if you want to go out by the door, they want to come with the documents. I've picked that up and I refuse to sign. Even if you say to me, it's the last day, they'd like to come and say, this is the last day. Then I said, you should have planned better. Your lack of planning is not my emergency. I would rather read through it, and I always send documents back if I'm not sure, or somebody must come sit with me. I want to ask my questions, because I know once your signature is there, you cannot say that I was running out of the door and this person came to me and said, you must sign. So I can tell you I would have gone through the document, and if there was questions, then obviously I would, if there's no attachments that I want to see, and how did you come to that point, I would have asked those questions. I'm not saying that Deputy Commissioner Spies hasn't done it, but I'm just saying. But I would have gone through the document.
And subsequently,
Sorry, just for the record, you refer us to page 435, Mrs. Kakane. I just want to place it on record that looking at the letter of appointment there, the acting stint was for 2 days. Am I correct? 15 and 16 January 2026.
It is on this letter, but there's another acting letter from, I think, the 19th of December until the 14th, and then there was this 2 days it was extended. We
So
can
is
provide
that-
that. We can provide that letter.
So
as well.
the 2 days I'm seeing here
This is just additional.
is additional?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you.
and obviously, do you know, just out of curiosity, why was there a rush to sign this agreement, especially when you are not at the office?
No, I wouldn't know that. It can be a coincidence, or it can
Coincidence.
be because, but I don't want to speculate.
Yes, yes, yes. And subsequently, have you familiarized yourself and are happy with the agreements?
Yes, I read through it.
And you're happy with them?
I read through the agreement, and the Deputy Commissioner, when he did his handover, he was, at the time when it was, when he went through it, he was happy with it. So as I said, that he handed over to me, and then he did explain to me, and then obviously he have to tell me what he has signed, what he has done in my absence, so that I can be aware of it.
I'm asking a different question, whether you are happy with them. Having gone through them or gotten a briefing from Commissioner Spies.
I was satisfied that he has signed and he has checked it, because it came from legal services as well.
Mrs. Kakane, I wanted to ask you, not Commissioner Faro, a question. You said the SLAs all look the same, so we don't have to go through all of them. My question is, the entities that were appointed, do they mirror the list that Sergeant Nkosi was exchanging with Dlamini and Nisi?
Commissioner, not entirely, but the three entities that would be El Shaddai, Napeshe, and later on Kubisa are there.
They are all there.
Correct.
Because he had them, he said, my preferred in the order of
At
preference.
some point, correct.
And then he listed them.
Correct. So the point that I concentrate is just a sample being the three entities. And Commissioner Faro, just to follow up on what Commissioner Kumalo is raising, with hindsight, and obviously knowing the apparent, let me not call it interference, but the apparent interference, you would note, it would raise a red flag that obviously these entities, with hindsight, of course, some of them are the ones that were shared with Sergeant Nkosi. Correct.
As you know, that this WhatsApp is coming is coming to our attention now.
Correct. This-
Unfortunately, I was not in that WhatsApp group. So it's come to the attention now. We must remember there's a supply chain management process where people must comply with certain, and there's a checklist. So I think, as I said again, how they came to that companies and did they comply and the evidence if they comply, those things will be with the chief financial officer. So if he comes to this commissioner, I think it is better if you maybe drill into that and maybe question him in that regard. Because at the end of the day, the documents and the checks and balances and make sure that all the companies comply is part of his portfolio. So after they've done the checks and balances, obviously they feel that the service level agreement must be drawn up because these companies has met the requirements. So if there is maybe in hindsight, through the WhatsApps that came to our attention, mine yesterday and to this morning, there is names there, then obviously that question must be posed to the CFO, who is the person that is part of his portfolio.
And certainly, I think they are. What I was just raising as a question was whether to you it would raise a red flag that you've got someone external that gives the CFO. a
Definitely,
list.
definitely, I
That's
agree.
just my
No,
question.
definitely, I agree with you. As I also yesterday strongly alluded to it, that this is unacceptable. He's not even working for the city of Tshwane. He's not even in the supply chain management environment of the city of Tshwane. He is a South African Police Service sergeant. It is very, very worrying that he could give guidance or he could actually preferred companies is unacceptable.
Can I just ask on this? We know from your evidence, but also from media reports that we can take note of, that there's been suspensions of the CFO. We know that Dlamini, the Deputy Commissioner Dlamini is also on suspension. You've also testified to consequence management
Yes.
processes.
Yes,
Now, the evidence through Sergeant Nkosi,
Yes.
and some of which you've covered with Mrs. Kakane, is you've got those three companies. We're
Yes,
talking
Commissioner.
about this land
Yes.
tender, right? So you've got those, you say, I think he says El Shaddai, Ngapesheya,
Yes.
and later
Gubis,
Gubis
85,
become,
yes.
they get awarded these tenders. Now, we know from Sergeant Nkosi's evidence that Ngapesheya belongs to his brother, according to him. It's a company that belongs to his brother. We also know from that evidence that Commissioner Dlamini, Deputy Commissioner Dlamini, seems to have been involved in advising about the Ngapesheya tender, where he didn't comply, advising this is how you fix it, we need this and that to be fixed. That's the evidence that has been presented to us. I give you that as the background
Yes.
to my question. My question is, together with these suspensions that have been publicized,
Yes.
is there an investigation presently within the city and or TMPD that's looking at whether these tenders were properly awarded, as in, for example, did Ngapesheya meet the requirements for appointment? Does El Shaddai meet the requirements for appointment? Are there those kind of investigations happening, or people have just been suspended and we'll see how it plays out?
Obviously, by my side, Commissioner Beloy, yes. In terms of the city, I'm sure the city is busy with that investigation as well. Under the GAR group audit and risk, they are busy with it. But by my side, like I said yesterday, we are busy with all that investigations in terms of TMPD.
Maybe let me limit you to just TMPD then. So what you're doing in TMPD, you're not just doing the normal disciplinary processes where Piri has been suspended and he will go through a disciplinary hearing. are you investigating the tenders themselves?
Yes, yes, I do. I am busy. Because the information that obviously that I got through my being a witness, I've got enough information, and then also as the evidence leader has alluded to, yes, we are looking at that as well. We are also want to look at how the, as I said with the CFO, we require that information in terms of the point system, the documents, all of that we are also looking at. We must, because I cannot just look at the one side. If I want to do consequence management, is the entire food chain and value chain, and then we obviously, as I said, where there's gaps, we need to make sure. If it is that we exclude it, or it is just known that actually the department that must make use of the goods and service, we only use you by point 1 to 3. But from 4 to 10, we do that, and 11 you must just sign. We must then say there's a gap. It cannot be like that. So I don't want us always to be after the fact. We need to make sure we put measures in place. That's why, Commissioner Beloy, this investigation is not going to be overnight. However, it's not going to be something that we want to drag on for 5 years, because we're dealing with this on a daily basis.
Yes.
So yes,
so-
definitely the investigation is quite huge and wide.
So we can, when I say we, I mean the public,
Yes.
can expect, for example, that Ngapeshea, if indeed it did not meet the requirements for to be awarded this tender, the public can expect that in time that contract will be cancelled.
Definitely.
Steps will be taken
Definitely,
to cancel
Commissioner.
it and set it aside.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And you saw that the SAM policy is very, very clear of the city of Tshwane. Very, very clear. So definitely there will be consequences. I promise you that.
Well, I mentioned, I should not be misunderstood. I mentioned Ngapeshea because there was
Yes,
specific
yes.
evidence, but this applies generally.
Yes, no,
to all the
to
companies.
everybody. We need to look into all of them that were successful. If you look at the land invasion, is that we need to look at it and also to see, like you say, if there's any links. And as I said, we're also making use of external other departments to assist us with that. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Bello.
Commissioner, this engagement takes me back to a question I asked you yesterday. And you said that you would deal with it later on in your testimony. I'm not sure that you did. If you did, you'll correct me. The question related to paragraph 7 of your statement. When you were dealing with that paragraph, perhaps let me read what you said, which prompted my question. Over the past weeks, I have come to learn with great shock and dismay on what was apparently taking place in the TMPD. It is not, it would seem, issues of irregularities, but clear systems of siphoning of money and criminal activities. And when you say that you became aware over the past weeks, you were obviously referring to what came out at this commission. Am I correct?
Yes, if you can see there in the, obviously with the stopping of the ad hoc, since that time, including the commission.
Including what
Including
came
the
out
commission.
here.
Yes, including the commission.
Yes.
Yes.
My question related to this, I expressed concern at the fact that, but for these recent revelations, it would have been business as usual. And my concern was this: what systems are in place to make sure that things like this either do not happen at all, or if they do happen, they are discovered and action is taken immediately or soon enough. That's what you said you deal with. In your engagement with Commissioner Baloyi just now, the focus was on what you are going to do, you as TMPD, what you are going to do from now onwards. My concern is, in a sense, historical, in the sense that how did we get here? Why is it that these were not discovered much earlier? Why aren't there systems that make sure that if something wrong has happened, it must be found out, it must be discovered soon enough. It must not be purely fortuitous that we do become aware of it. There must be systems in place that make sure that, one, it either doesn't happen, or if it has happened, it is discovered soon enough.
Chair, I agree with you. And I need to just remind the Commission that APSS only came to me 1st of July 2024. And we've discovered that even prior to that, as I said, the investigation is vast. And upon it came to me, we actually became aware of it and we started the type of investigation. And you are correct. We need to look at the history and historically in terms of even the previous tender and even the previous, to look at it to see what happened that time as well, in order for us to make sure what happened that time, what now, and how we can correct it. So you are correct, Commissioner, Chairperson, that July 2024, a couple of months after that, we had to figure out and stumbled across things to make sure. Handover report was only given a month after I've discovered and stopped the ad hoc. And also, as Commissioner Khumalo yesterday also said, in terms of the APSS, it's very complex. You deal with tenders, you deal with staff, you deal with sites that you had to do your own assessment. So I want to really, I know now, because of this that we have discovered now, it looks like you should have known, but we must not lose sight that we only got APS. APS has been since 2002. So the fact that we stumbled across it, something new, we had to, immediately we had to start with the tender, which was already late. We had to immediately figure out everything for ourselves. And it was it was beginning of the financial year, 1 July 2024. Then you have a couple of months, then you have the festive season. So all these things are what we discovered. Actually, we made more headway than anybody that was before in that portfolio. So yes, you are correct, Chairperson. We are looking wide. And as I also said, we are in the process of also having a workshop with all this information with the relevant role players to see what was, what happened, what we discovered before the Commission became actually here to assist us even more, and how we're going to move forward. So I really need to also, in terms of my team that was part of it, and had to figure out how this APSS work, I need to really commend them a little bit for what they've done in a short span of time, in what was going on for years. So I can really guarantee you, we are looking into it, because we can't move forward if we are not going to look at historically, how did it work? And I can guarantee you also, it's very difficult also to get certain information, but we're going to get the information, because there's no way we're going to move forward. And as I said yesterday, the ideal will be to build in-house capacity moving forward, and that will be to have not this scenario anymore moving forward into the future. In-house capacity, and then also looking at, rightfully so, after we've built and assisted, where the unit must actually reside. Must it not be with the COO then? Must it not be with the GSO? But we are up for the challenge. We are there. We're not going to hand over a broken vehicle. We will fix the vehicle, and we will look at historically what went wrong. We want to really look at everything, because we can't start in the middle and we leave behind. There can be people that maybe has moved from the unit, but previously was involved in something. We're even looking into that. If I say that we are looking into everything.
Perhaps more a comment than a question, but of course, if you want to say something on it, you may. It seems to me that with some of the things that happen during the entire process, the people involved in the processes just go along with whatever agenda is being pushed. Let's take the example of Ngapesia, which Mrs. Kakane drew our attention to. There's the email from, I think, Mr. Dlamini, is it? Where he's pointing out the shortcomings of the Ngapesia bid. So that should tell the people involved in the procurement process that this is how the Ngapesia bid looked
Yes.
at the time it was submitted. But this is how it looked at the stage of adjudication, which should tell those involved in the process that there was a change somewhere in between. That's not even a red flag. It actually tells you that something improper has happened somewhere between submission and adjudication. So that's why I think, yes, some people will actually be involved in criminality, impropriety, bid rigging. But some will not be involved in that, but will be complicit in the sense that they do not actually look for what they should be looking for, which makes corruption, bid rigging, etc., easy. As I said, it's just a comment. But if you
Definitely,
want to-
Chairperson. We also picked up there was one person that actually, because of you, remember you are in uniform. So if somebody of authority comes, you're supposed to check certain things. You are spot on with it. That is even that we picked up that you should, irrespective who comes to you in a position of authority, if it is that you must have A, B, C, D, E in order to do F, you should not just because a person is an authority. You are 100% correct with that, Chairperson. All of those things came to the fore now. And we will have to do consequence management on each and every one. You cannot use the excuse that somebody in authority came to you, and even if the person said, I'm going to bring it later, and maybe it never came. So you must just do that. We are also looking at those things, Chairperson. You are correct in terms of that.
Mrs. Kakani.
Thanks, Chair. Perhaps I've just got two issues, and I think it comes to your point. You say that there are obviously steps that you're going to take going forward about, and obviously, I think yesterday you were given some homework about what was happening in the department, in the Metro Police Department. And yesterday I did put it to you, or probe that there is some difficulty with, or I find some difficulty, but I couldn't point any further about management and having these circumstances, as the chair puts them, that then enable others to be corrupt or otherwise within the department. And one central figure is Commissioner, your Deputy Commissioner Dlamini. If I may ask you to go to file 1, page 93.
File 1.
Page 93. Just wait for
I'm
the chair.
there.
Is it, I find Commissioner Wale. Oh, it's that challenge with the file.
No, yeah, I'll share with the chair. I still have the same difficulties yesterday. My 93 is a P-ray suspension letter, but I'll share Dlamini with the chair.
I do apologize.
Chair, through you, mine is the same as Commissioner Beloy. So my file is also the same as Commissioner Beloy, but
Don't you have a copy that you just take out from somewhere and share with
Let's
with
just
the
ask
commissioner?
it. Thank you. Mine is marked, unfortunately.
I think Commissioner Beloy, they've got something against females here. We can pick that up.
I'm starting to think that.
I can think that as if it comes to the two of us.
Perhaps, Chair, either we can stand down for the copies to be made,
Or perhaps,
Or I
why
can
don't
read
you move on to some other point and then we come back to this later? Will that mess up your?
yes, it should. But it's to the witness more than.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You see that is a precautionary suspension letter from US Lamini that's Umashi Lamini.
That's correct.
And you.
Sorry, can I ask why the evidence leaders? Oh, it's there now. It's
Yes.
fine. Remember, the public is also watching.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. That's your signature at the bottom.
That's correct.
Okay. Could you just take us through how this happens? I find it peculiar about how does it work and what are the actual allegations, because one is not clear from what Commissioner Dlamini is saying. He says there are serious and damaging allegations. He's essentially, apologies, Chair.
No, continue.
Yes, he was simply saying that there are serious and damaging circumstances or that warrant for him to be put on precautionary suspension. Could you just explain on that, how it works?
If you look at the date, this was the 20th of March. Just the end of the 18th of March, Deputy Commissioner Dlamini's name was mentioned just by the end of the day. The morning of the 19th, I went to his office and I said your name was mentioned yesterday. Depending on what is coming out today, me and him had a conversation that this will be the route to go. What happened then, I engaged with the HR department because I wanted to know, what do you do in a case like this? Because it's not that I had an investigation and then in terms of that investigation, it's easier to say, based on A, B, C, D, E, I'm going to do this. So they said, I was then by the festive season launch busy at the national one. Then I was informed that he's looking for me on the 20th. And then he's got a document he wants to hand over to me. When I got the document, I wanted to know from HR, what is the way forward? And if you will just allow me, I will just read into record what HR has actually responded to me. Because I wanted to know, in this case, what need to do. Then HR said, Chief, I have perused the policy and it does not make provision for such a request. It is normally initiated from the side of the employer. Then HR also said, however, from other documents I perused, it is possible as long as the employer suggests it with reasons and does not demand. The letter from him is a request and the reasons seem valid. I would however suggest a cover letter where you can indicate that after consideration of the request and the reasons, you support the request. So that I received from HR. What I want to do, I wanted it to be procedurally correctly from the start. That is why I seek advice from HR how to go about it. So the letter you will see on 93, he did write, where he requested, and then as per HR on page number 94, I then did that cover letter. Although I signed that, and I signed it, you will see on page 1995 is my signature. So that is how this came about.
For the record, please tell us where you were reading from just now. That
I'm-
is
I'm reading from-
the advice from HR.
Yes, and I will I will also submit it with my supplementary. Yeah, our person from HR is Nadia Salias, and I will submit this in for the commission.
Thank
How
you.
this came about.
Thank you.
Thank you, as Chairperson.
Just for the record, at page 93, that's Deputy Commissioner Dlamini's request to be placed on suspension.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's correct, Commissioner Baloy.
okay.
That's correct.
So when you say you supported the request, you mean you accepted
Yes,
that there were
definitely.
valid reasons for him
Definitely.
to be placed on suspension?
Definitely, I accepted it, Commissioner Baloy. I also, on the 19th already, early the morning, I went to him and said, because it was just by the end of the 18th of March, his name was mentioned, and it was more into context on the 19th. And I did inform him in person, whatever comes out now, today, that obviously then on the 20th, there will be type of action will be taken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy.
Just for completeness, I mean, I think if you compare that, and maybe the circumstances are different, that with the letter for Inspector Piri, where there are specifics, just maybe for the record, when he says serious and damaging allegations, I think he's covering the nature of the allegations. Are you able to share exactly your understanding of your discussion as to what it is that he was concerned about? Was it corruption? Was it?
It was obviously the allegations against him in terms of the 19th of March. Was obviously that possible, like you said, interference, etc. So that was the nature of the discussion.
So it was around the issues of interference.
100%.
And are those, they are not written anywhere insofar as that is concerned?
It's part of the investigation.
Part of the investigation? Okay,
Yes, it's part of the investigation.
all right. Commissioners, I think it's, the next part would have been the APSS, but another witness with more detail will come and deal with it. And I think I'm unlikely to get more from the witness on the topic.
All right, all right. Any other topic to deal with then, or is this the end?
This is it. It was just one of the APSS, but I think it's better that we deal
It'll
with
be
it
dealt
with
with
another
by the other
witness.
witness.
And
Thank
I
you.
don't think I'm going with that.
Thank you,
With
Mr.
this.
Secretary. Thank you.
All right.
Commissioner Faro, good morning again. I just want to get clarity from you. You must understand that this commission has a limited duration within which to do its work, and its terms of reference are limited. And we have a few investigators and a few evidence leaders. Tshwane and TMPD are big institutions.
Yes,
You mentioned 3,200 or
3,600.
3,600 officers within TMPD. It's unlikely that we as the commission will cover all of them. So it's in that context that I want to ask these questions that I have to ask. What, beside, other than the security services, what are the other services that are procured by TMPD through the tender system, and where you as chief of police or your predecessors have had to sign an SLA?
I'm sure, Commissioner, is the uniform tender.
Uniform.
And then also the service animals, because you need to, the feed and the vet services, etc. And also if I look at it,
I'm assuming tech, the machines that your
The
officers
speed.
use to track speed and drinking
Speed,
and
yes,
driving?
speed equipment, 100%.
And then ticket collection,
No, that is ARTO that we have.
is it ARTO?
We, unfortunately, in Johannesburg, ARTO is already with us for a very, very long
So
time.
there are no service providers that collect on behalf of the city of Tshwane?
I've got
Okay.
my own back office
And
with
then
my staff.
healthcare, you're not using Mr. Matlala's company to test your officers when they are sick?
No, they've got medical aid.
Fitness,
Fitness is done by my in-house academy.
so it's not Medicare 24?
No, we don't need Mr. Mkala for that.
All right. Now, I will put it no higher than this because there must still be a determination on this. But it would appear that in relation to the tenders that we have looked at, that the SCM system within Tshwane and TMPD is compromised. What is your comment on that?
I agree.
So your policy is great that you have a written policy, but it's clear that people are not complying with it and are finding ways to go around it and to get their preferred service providers to be appointed, even when they don't qualify to be appointed. And the example Chair made is a case in point.
Commissioner Kumalo, definitely, I agree, because we wouldn't have been sitting here if it wasn't compromised. So
No.
I agree with you 150%.
My worry is that the Commission has so far only looked at the security services. What assurance can you give the Commission and the public, the South Africans, that in their capital city, in one of the biggest metros in the country, in relation to these other services, you've mentioned 7, you've mentioned uniform, animals, tech, ticket collection, we can scratch out. You said healthcare is internal. But in relation to those 5, can you give South Africans the assurance that there was no infiltration by criminals who have hijacked the system and they are making millions, if not billions, out of taxpayers' money and nobody's paying attention to it? Can you give the country the assurance that that is being looked at and you are comfortable that there are no issues there?
Commissioner Kumalo, as I said, we are going to look not only into these 2 tenders that has been identified or flagged by the Commission. We are looking at the entire, everything that you've mentioned that's got, even if it's, remember some of those were already awarded or some of them are already in place. This investigation is not going to stop now, and it's only because there's as you said, you've got a terms of reference when it comes to the Commission. Everything needs to be looked at when it comes to this. And the other thing that I'm looking at also is all these services, can we have it in-house? That is my next question. Is it possible that I can maybe appoint a vet for the service animals? Is the amount of service animals of such amount that I can do it? Is the care that they need of such amount that I can do it? I'm looking at all of those things. Is it necessary that we must have all these service providers, or can I build in-house capacity? So the word for me is in-house capacity, then all these things will disappear. So those are the things that I can also looking at. In terms of the other tenders, that's going to be part of the terms of reference from my side is bigger than yours, Commissioner Kumalo. I unfortunately have to now, mine must be bigger. I cannot just say, okay, let us look at the 2. I need to look at everything and also to see those that are implicated, how far are they implicated in this regard? I cannot just look into the 2. I need to look at how far and how long have you been busy in this regard. So that is also part of my scope in terms of the investigation that we are looking at. Yes, we are looking at this 2 now, but I have to look at it, and then all the staff there. If all the staff are compromised, unfortunately, I will have to start from a clean slate. I will have to start from a clean slate. So, Commissioner Kumalo, that is my answer, that I cannot just look into, let us look at 9 and 10, but we will not start from 1. I have to look at the whole value chain, and I did already said that. But we're first starting now with this, and then we're also looking back into all the others as well.
Are you able to create positions within the TMPD, or would you have to seek permission from someone else?
I will be able to, Chairperson. We are busy looking at the microstructure at the moment. So I am looking at, I even put, I want 2 legal services within my office. I've already recruited 2 very young and Metro Police officers that got they studied and they've got it, and I've given them like small things to be the liaison between the legal department of the city of Tshwane and my one, to look at litigation, to look at if you go to court, prepare yourself to go to court, that we don't lose cases. Look at summonses, look at trends. Are you making mistake on the summonses, or is it deliberate? So we are already starting with that, and I'm giving them that. So yes, the answer is yes, I can do that.
All right. I'm asking that in the context of your response to Commissioner Khumalo, that, for example, you want to take out of the need for procurement, the appointment, for example, of vets.
Yes.
For your animals. If, for example, there will be a huge saving instead of going out to tender, if there will be a saving, if you have your own vets, and you do not have to seek someone else's permission to make appointments, why not? Because then you are outside of all this corruption, bid rigging, and all of the things I referred to earlier. Of course, the appointment of vets is just one example. I'm sure when you sit down, you would be able to remove from the procurement process a whole lot of other services. I was surprised when we went through the WhatsApp chats here to see that there are even tenders for the delivery of refuse bags. When I grew up, someone employed by the municipality would just throw that in, throw it into the yard, and you've got your refuse bag, and the municipality did not have to issue a tender for that. I just find some of these things mind-boggling. Again, that's just one example. If one sits down, a whole lot more could be removed from the tender system. But I guess it also requires political decisions, political will, and so on. So some of these things may be outside of your scope of, or your purview of functions.
Commissioner, what you can, and if I just take the vet services as an example, you trained the Metro Police officer to additional that is on the mounted patrol unit. You just enhance his skills. You don't need to have a vet on standby. That can be done. So I'm just using the example of being a vet. You are on the unit, you know exactly, you love horses because obviously you will have to, you know what to do. So we can just enhance your skills.
Thank you. Mr. Skakane, you had indicated that that's it, eh? We are done.
Thanks, we're done, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner, thank you very much. You are excused.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Thank you so much, Commissioners, also for assisting us to see the gaps, and also that I would like to, any progress that we make, even if the commission is not, it's concluded, that we still, I would like to still report on all the things that I said is going to happen. I don't want it to just be a talk, so, and then to say that I obviously will know where to submit to say that I've done this now, we've done this now, we picked up this, and we're busy with that investigation, even long after commission has concluded. I would really like to have that homework as well. Thank you, Commissioner, so much.
Thank you. I like to say that Section 217 of the Constitution was included in the Constitution for the benefit of us all, that is, South Africans. But what organs of state have done is to turn it on its
Yes.
head and actually use it against us. That's very unfortunate. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Do we adjourn so as to make the switch?
Yes, Chair, and just sort out the files. What I was thinking, Chair, is that it's perhaps we can take an early tea break instead, and then come back with a new witness.
Ten past 11. Thank you.